Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Power Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright? Now look, so for this one, I'm gonna just go ahead and get straight to it. Y'all see that boy face? Remember that this is how you gonna be looking when you catch that case, when you out here playing games and real life shit happen. This is gonna be your face. Remember that.
Allegedly at the hands of her older brother. He's now facing stiff charges in a case that serves as a cautionary tale about the improper handling of firearms. 13-year-old Amira Thompson was killed in an apartment complex on Tuesday afternoon. 7 News Detroit's Randy Wembley was in the courtroom as her brother was arraigned. 23-year-old Javion McKinney could be looking at 15 years in prison after he was charged in the accidental shooting of his younger sister. It was not intentional, but it was every bit negligent. Javion McKinney charged with involuntary manslaughter, felony firearm, and discharge of a firearm causing the death of his 13-year-old sister, Amira Thompson. His family, police, and his lawyer summing up the situation with the same word. It is an extreme tragedy, and the mother told me that they were best friends. The shooting happened in a townhome at the Ridgeline apartment complex in Canton Tuesday afternoon. Investigators say McKinney initially lied to police and his family about the shooting, claiming he changed his clothes, ran from the scene, and hid the gun in question. Even so, the family appeared at McKinney's arraignment, mourning Amira while supporting him. Some family members would be torn between the love for the son versus the love for the daughter. They are not torn at all. In court, McKinney's mother requested he be allowed to see his sister's body at the funeral home. That request was denied. McKinney's mother declined an interview. It is an extremely emotional situation for this family, which is why they did not want to appear on camera. Some of the family members were actually inside of the house when this occurred. Jarring evidence about the shooting was uncovered during the arraignment. We learned McKinney recorded a video of himself mishandling a pair of pistols before the shooting.
And I would call it careless playing of the firearms, reenacting, any way you like to categorize it, but it's definitely careless behavior, which we believe in our assertion led to, about a half hour, 40 minutes later, the death of the sister.
Canton Deputy Police Chief Joseph Biley.
And I can't say the word tragedy enough, because that is truly what this is. This is not malicious behavior, but it is negligence. Please go to the Canton Police Department website, go into the safety tips, and just do your preparation, your due diligence to have the responsibility of having a firearm in your home. That way this doesn't happen again.
Javion McKinney is due back in court August 14th. Until then, he's ordered to be in home confinement. If he violates the terms of his release, his $500,000 bond will balloon to $5 million. In Plymouth.
Alright? Nah. So I got a couple of points that I want to touch on this situation, right? All right, so let's start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? This all resulted because dog was playing with a pistol. And they got proof of this situation. He got videos and pictures of it, you know what I'm saying, floating around on the internet. That is going to go against him so badly in this situation. Here's another thing I got to say about this. I don't understand why he had a gun in the house anyway around his sister, you know. Another thing is they said he ran away when the situation happened. He went to change clothes, to get rid of the gun, all type of shit, you know. So why did he do that? Did he ended up shooting her on purpose, but made it look like it was a mistake? Like, what's going on there? You know, because if it was 100% innocent, why would he run from the situation? And he in the house with other family members. It's not like it was just him and her there, and he got scared and ran away. Like, there was other family members there, so you ran past them as well. You know, I don't know. seem a little sketchy right there, you know. But who knows? Um, he asked to see his sister's body because now he didn't kill her and he in jail. Here in Michigan, he is in Canton, Michigan. Canton, about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Detroit, going back west of Detroit. So if you in any of the neighborhoods like West Warren, Joy Road, Plymouth, Schoolcraft, any one of them like neighborhoods, you could take that neighborhood all the way back out west and it'll land you in Canton, you know. So like I said, if you in Detroit in one of them neighborhoods and you take that neighborhood back west, it'll take you all the way to Canton, you know. So Canton sit right outside of Detroit going back west, you know. Anyway, this situation happened in Canton, Michigan. So this is under the Michigan law. And I told y'all I know how it worked because I've been in prison here, you know, so I know how they rules work. I done said this before. This is my own father, you know. When my father passed away, they didn't let me go to his funeral, you know, and this is my father. They didn't care. He didn't get shot down in the street or none of this shit, you know. It's just they rule. Like once you come behind the walls, you stay behind there until your day comes for you to get out. Other than that, you don't do nothing. You don't go to no funerals, no nothing, you know. So they said he asked to see her body and they smoked him. Nah, you gonna remain in custody until your ERD, earliest earliest release date. You know what I'm saying? So he not gonna get to see his sister, you know, have her funeral or anything. It's a wrap. They gonna give him some time, you know. Um, this what I will say about his time with the involuntary manslaughter. Um, it's not no light bit or nothing like that. You know, he can get anywhere from probably like 8 years to about 15 years or something like that. That's why when the reporter was saying he looking at 15 years, yeah, that's like the deep end of it. But he can get anywhere from like 8 to like 15, you know, depending on his guidelines and the elements of the case and blah, 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 how the judge feel, what evidence the prosecutor is presenting, blah, 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 you know. Here's the good thing about his case. His family is on his side and the daughter's side, you know, because they know how he felt about his sister and things like that. This is the good thing that will work with him when it comes to sentencing and things like that. But at the end of the day, this is Michigan, man, and this is the system. And they gonna give him some time, you know. Like I said, he not gonna get a light bit. He ain't gonna get a lot of time. He ain't gonna get 20 years or nothing like that. I don't see him getting no more than 10 years, honestly. You know, it's just unfortunate, you know, for what did happen, but it didn't have to happen, you know. So it has to be some type of punishment to what he did. Now, here's the wildest part of the whole situation. He has to live with the fact that he know that he killed his sister. And he has to deal with that fact the whole time he is in prison serving his time for this situation. It's gonna come a point in time when them same family members they gonna get to pulling away from him. You know, right now they cool and you know they are where they are right now. It's called a temporary emotion, and I just spoke on this multiple times. It's a temporary emotion, but once they forgive him and they move past that stage and everything, they gonna detach from him. Is prison tactics. You know what I'm saying? They gonna just accept the fact that you know they forgive him and he gonna have to move on and do whatever he got to do with the rest of his time. But they gonna detach from him. They gonna stop sending him money. You know they gonna stop doing all of that. This is how it works when you're behind the walls. Also, let me throw this in there too. You know, um, with this involuntary manslaughter, which I'm gonna make a point about this. Like, this is why they don't get a lot of time for them involuntary manslaughters. I was in the county jail with a guy when I had caught my case before I went off to prison. I was in the county jail with a guy, right? He had a case like that. I'm gonna tell y'all what he told us, and this is what happened to him in court. Well, in court, they gave him 15 years on an involuntary manslaughter. But behind the walls, he was telling us that him and his boy, they pulled up to a light. His boy in the passenger seat, a car pulled up next to him. When the car pulled up next to him, it was the ops. So homeboy that was telling us the story, he in the driver's seat, he oblique across his homeboy and get to shooting at the ops. He didn't hit the ops. He ended up hitting his homeboy and killed his homeboy. This is the story he told us behind the walls. But like I said, they gave him 15 years on the involuntary manslaughter. To me, that sound like him and his boy was arguing and they was tussling over the gun or something. He might have just up and pulled the trigger on him, on some shit like that. But behind the walls, he trying to seem gangster and shit. So he telling us it was the ops and he tried to blow at the ops, but he ended up killing his homeboy. That can't be true. Because if that was the case, they would have smoked his ass. Because at the end of the day, you pulled your gun to shoot somebody else. Now you didn't kill your target, but you killed somebody. So the system would have smoked him. So I knew that story was a lie. But this is jail talk. So that was his story. But he got 15 years for the same thing. He killed his homeboy. When it's an incident, they don't give you much time for that. Now, if it's on purpose, then yeah, they gonna smoke you. But if it's an accident and they can prove it's an accident, you don't get a lot of time for that. And not only that, you got to live with the fact of whatever you did to this person. This was your loved one, and you killed them. So it got its own punishments behind it. But yeah, my man's he hit. And that look on his face, man, that's just the beginning of his reality. You know, he got some time to do. He about to understand a lot of family members is about to pull back from him. They about to detach from him. He gonna lose people while he gone. He not gonna be able to go to no funerals, and whatever he got to deal with behind the walls. Whoever might get on his ass. Cause there's gonna be guys that's gonna get on his ass for killing his little sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just prison, man. You know. So I believe that he didn't do it on purpose, but it happened. I believe he was scared, but it still seemed a little sketchy. Like, you killed your sister and you ran away. Like I said, I can understand being nervous and things like that, but like, you completely ran away. He had the gun and all type of shit. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But I know this. He gonna have a long time to think about it in the penitentiary. And he gonna go to a level 4 instantly. And he gonna have to deal with the Damons and the Green Miles. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna get dealt with. It's fucked up, but this is why you don't play with guns. You know what I'm saying? I haven't touched a gun since. You know what I'm saying? Since the last incident I told y'all about when I shot my man's gun and the hood pulled up on us. I tried to throw my ID under their car and all of that shit because I was on parole. That's the last time I touched a gun. You know what I'm saying? And that was damn near 10 years ago. You know, that shit is not it. Guns are not loyal to nobody. No matter how high and mighty you might feel with your gun, that same gun can kill your ass or kill somebody that you love. You know what I'm saying? You know how many times that same gun was in somebody's possession and it was turned around on them and that trigger pulled and killed their ass? Yeah, guns don't have no love or loyalty for nobody. Put the guns down. Save your life, save your loved one's life, even your ops, save their life too. Life has a way of getting rid of who should be here and who shouldn't be here. Mind yours, do yours. Put the guns down, man. It's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts rolled and you drink port.